relationship with him to further themselves. And that's not fair either. If you deserve a promotion, you're going to work your butt off for it, right?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Well, that's saying everybody is unscrupulous. As far as I'm concerned, if someone, okay, so I own trash talking enterprises.
Right.
I'm the president of the company,
Of course.
and there's people way beneath me. But I happen to take a liking to this one girl, and she likes me, but she works for me, but she's way down there.
It's a conflict of interest for her.
Only if you're directly underneath me, if you're my secretary, for instance, or something. But I don't have anything to do with whether she washes dishes or flips burgers. I only see her at night after the business is closed.
But you also, because you are the owner of it, people may see that you will play favorites with her, even though she's only flipping burgers and washing dishes, that she has that potential to not listen to the supervisors, not do what she's told, because she could go to you and say, hey, so-and-so's doing this.
Okay.
And be done. They're not going to want that. They don't want that to come into play.
As president of the company, I set the rules. My business, my rules, my paycheck.
True. I get that, but not in the real world.
It should be. I think people often stick their nose where it doesn't belong. It happens in every day, whether or not we want to admit it. It happens every day. And as far as that goes, it's none of their business. It's my business.
That is true, but, you've got to play fair.
No. Who says?
Society.
I don't listen to society.
Yes, we know this. I mean, it would be nice if everybody could all play nice together. But that just doesn't happen.
I don't know. I think the problem is that we get too politically correct.
Yes.
And this CEO shouldn't lose his job because he was dating somebody within the company.
How do you know he didn't step down voluntarily?
Because it says he was voted to have to step down. Has been pushed out of the company after violating the company policy.
Well, see, that right there is policy.
By engaging in consensual relationship. Why didn't they fire her? So let him keep his job. Fire her. Why does he have to lose his job? Why is the guy?
He makes more money, and they're all about the money.
Yeah, believe me, I know what that's about. More than
yeah.
More than most.
I know.
I know what happens when they try to push you out. Because I went through that.
That's why they fired him. They get all his money that they were paying him. She's only working for apple slices.
Yeah. I know what that's like.
Yep.
I didn't even get apple slices.
You didn't ask for them in the right Happy Meal then.
Anyway, all right, so where are we at here? Oh, I don't know if that did that right. That didn't do it right. Why didn't it do it right? Okay, got to figure this out. Okay, we're up here.
See, if Ashley were here, we could ask her thoughts. She's worked for McDonald's before.
Well, it doesn't even matter. McDonald's, wherever, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. It's just, I don't know. I understand they want to protect themselves, but I just think it sucks. So, anyway, enough of that. Don't do this at home.
I don't.
I mean, do not do this at home.
Okay.
Do not do this at home.
Oh, brother.
You know what I'm going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Do not do this at home. Krispy Kreme orders student to halt donut resale service. This to me is so funny that this is even an issue. He saw a need. He capitalized on the need, and he made money. That's what business is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see an opening, you see a spot where you can make some money, you should do it. Nobody got hurt in this business. So here's the
And
story.
Krispy Kreme was his supplier.
Unknowingly, his supplier. How it's funny because you would think they would be suspicious about this. I think it's really stupid that he had to stop. So we got this student ordered to stop reselling the Krispy Kreme donuts. And yeah, it's music. An enterprising student in Minnesota drove to Krispy Kreme, and then he sold to his customers in Twin Cities. And he's been warned by the confectionery that he has to stop. There have been no Krispy Kreme stores in Minnesota for 11 years. So he found a need, and he decided to capitalize on it. Jason Gonzalez, 21, of Champlain, Minnesota, would drive 270 miles to a Krispy Kreme store in Iowa, and he would buy a bunch of donuts. He would buy a bunch. He would buy, says here it is, up to 100 boxes of 12 donuts. And then he'd drive north to deliver them to customers in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Do you see a problem with this?
Yes.
What?
The donuts will go bad.
His customers loved him. His customers wanted him. He was able to sell every one of his donuts because everybody likes Krispy Kreme. Now, Krispy Kreme doesn't like it because, he's making money off of them. It says here, charge $17 to $20 a box.
Wow.
He said some of his customers spent nearly $100 each time, and Gonzalez said he never received any discounts for buying that many donuts. He bought them for whatever whatever they sold. Yeah, and he sold them. There's been no stores in Minnesota for 11 years, and he saw a need for it. And but less than a week after, the stupid thing was, it was reported in the newspapers what he was doing, and less than a week after St. Paul Pioneer Press reported his money-making scheme, Gonzalez got a phone call from Krispy Kreme, Mr. Kreme himself, telling him to stop. The senior studying accounting at Metropolitan State University at St. Paul said he was told by sales his sales created a liability. In a statement Sunday night, Krispy Kreme said it's looking into the matter. We appreciate Jason's passion for Krispy Kreme and his entrepreneurial sprint as it pursues to education. And he's known as the donut guy.
Wow.
and made his 20th run to Iowa on Saturday. He told his Facebook followers on Thursday he had been told he has to shut down operations. Krispy Kreme is a business. Their job is to sell donuts.
Okay, I get that. I agree with you. Okay, but let's say something happens and his customers, they get a hold of a bad batch of donuts. Okay.
It's on Gonzalez's. It's
but
not on Krispy Kreme.
How do we know Gonzalez isn't going to say, well, they weren't bad when I had them, or they were bad when I had them, go back on Krispy Kreme? That's cutting them down, and then they're going to lose a whole big market, because if it only takes one person to start it, and it could spread like wildfire, especially because Krispy Kreme is a well-known brand name.
Okay, so I sell you a car.
Uh-huh.
Can
I have the Tesla?
I bought a car and I sold the car, but I sold the car for more money than I bought it for.
Right.
And you know where I bought the car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is let's say it's a Mustang. Let's say I paid $30,000 for it, and I sold it to you for $33,000.
Okay.
You knew I paid $30,000 for it.
Right.
You said, I want that car.
Right.
I'm going to pay you $33,000 for it.
Okay.
You bought the car. It goes down the street. All of a sudden, you got a flat tire. Is that Ford's problem? No.
No, it isn't. But if it was a brand new car, okay, you could say, I didn't know that tire
Let's
was
say it's a used
faulty.
car.
But this
It
is
doesn't
more
matter. It doesn't
new.
matter. What we're talking about here is donuts. Donuts. What's going to go bad in a donut?
The cream.
No, probably more than likely, if anything's
the
going to
donut itself.
then you give them another donut. You know, we don't know what would happen in that scenario because it hasn't happened. But the bottom line is, it's to me, what are they going to do? They can't stop him from selling the donuts. They can't stop him from buying donuts and selling donuts. That's just totally weird and totally
it's
wrong.
more the fact that they're afraid if he's making a lot of money
Who cares?
by doing this,
Yeah.
and they're not getting that profit.
They are getting that because they don't have a store in Minnesota. So they're getting the money.
They're only getting the profit based on what he's paying, not what he's selling.
So if you have say you're selling hot dogs for $1 a piece,
right?
okay, I buy them for $1 a piece. I sell them for $1.50.
Okay.
You still got your profit. You still got the same profit you would have got normally. And
yes, but
you don't sell hot dogs in this place, so you actually got more sales because I actually bought them and distributed them and did it on my own money.
But see,
He did the same thing, and his.
I want to say I know where Krispy Kreme's coming from.
Yeah, they're greedy, and they're not gonna.
That's part of it. Yes,
but they have no reason to be greedy unless they're going to open a store in Minnesota. They have no right to do that because there's no way you can't stop me from buying donuts and selling them to somebody else.
He could make his own.
That's not a Krispy Kreme donut. There are reasons why there are Ford dealerships that sell Fords, but used cars can be sold. You can sell any kind of used car, but you can't be a Ford dealer and sell. Well, actually, nowadays you can. You can sell other brands because I've seen other brands where I never thought I'd see other brands. But you know, the bottom line is that's what America was made off of. Is that's what it's all it is. You see an opportunity to make money. You do it. Nobody got hurt in this transaction.
It only takes that one bad apple.
Well, then let's wait till that bad apple has a problem. This guy didn't do anything wrong. He bought them at full price and sold them at a profit. And people knew what they wanted their Krispy Kreme. They knew that they were paying a premium to get these, but they couldn't get them unless they wanted to drive.
What Krispy Kreme,
he drove 270 miles, and who in their right mind would drive 270 miles for a Krispy Kreme donut? For one donut?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
No.
You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that.
I don't have the gas. No,
See?
but I think
but you could buy them from Jason as you can buy one for if he paid. I don't even know what a dozen donuts costs anymore, but
let's say it costs $3.
Okay, so your one donut would cost probably say $3 would be 50 cents a piece for half a dozen.
Yeah.
Let's say for a dozen would be 25 cents a piece. He probably sold them for 50 cents. You would pay 50 cents for a donut. I would pay 50 cents. If you go, and actually, if you go to Sheetz, I think it's $2 for two donuts for $3 or something like that. So, what's difference? Okay, what's the difference from if they? I guess I'm assuming.
This is why I don't like doing this with you.
Because I'm right.
No, because you don't understand.
I do understand.
I'm trying to explain to you where I'm coming from, and you don't want to hear it.
I heard what you said, but I think that I think it's the America was built on entrepreneurs.
Right.
You see a need, you fix it. People love this brand of donuts. They can't get this brand of donuts.
Krispy Kreme, bottom line is they don't want him selling their product.
Yeah, I know. But they can't legally stop them.
They did.
Well, if he's stupid enough to stop, I wouldn't stop. I'd just go to another Krispy Kreme. And I would keep my mouth shut. He should have never said anything. It's not illegal what he's doing. There's no law in the books that says you can't resell my donuts.
I think why they're doing this, and I don't know, is that if, like I said, if something bad happens.
No, they're greedy.
That it's more. They don't want to be liable if somebody has an allergic reaction to the cream or something in the donut, and they can come back on Krispy Kreme saying it was not because Jason sold it,
What if,
but because
if I
it
went
was
into
this.
a Krispy Kreme place and I ate a donut and I got an allergic reaction there?
Well, see, how do I?
I don't know that there's even a case on file of anybody that's had an allergic reaction
I'm gonna
on
find
donuts.
out.
But even so, if they did have an allergic reaction, they wouldn't go after Krispy Kreme. They would go after Jason.
Not necessarily.
Well, they can't.
Because they'll
they
say,
have
well,
no
he
warranty.
only sold them. He didn't make them.
They have no warranty because he's the second owner, the second owner of the donut. That's like if you buy a. Well, that's not true with cars though. If I bought say a Ford Pinto, and it had gas tank problems, and my Pinto blew up, I could go after Ford. So,
I can't even look because this is all locked up.
Well, that's because you're wrong.
No, that's because I have too many windows open.
How many windows you got open?
1, 2, 3,
Well,
4,
close a
5,
couple of
6, 7, 8.
Anyway, I feel bad for him because he
Oh, I feel bad for him. Don't get me wrong.
should
but
not be screwed.
I just think
over
he should
this.
have done a little more research about what he could do.
No, I think that Krispy Kreme's being greedy. But the thing is, Krispy Kreme's going to lose that 100 boxes of donuts a week that he was buying. And somebody else is going to do it and keep their mouth shut.
Yeah, I don't know.
The bottom line is it's stupid. This to me is dumber than the CEO losing his job because nobody got hurt here. Nobody got hurt. It's just Krispy Kreme was being jerks. So that's my opinion. And whether or not you agree, it's funny when I think about his customers spent nearly $100 each time. He wasn't making a ton of money on them. He was just making money. He wasn't being greedy about it. But the thing is,
there's probably something in their bylaws that says you have to have this kind of document to sell our product, and because he doesn't, they don't want him selling it.
But I can't think that they would be able to stop. The only thing I could get him on is maybe because he didn't charge tax. Or something like that.
A brand infringement or something.
No, there's brand. It's a donut.
I know.
It's a donut. It's not like he was pirating their donuts. He was selling them.
No, this is out west.
It's not worth it. You can't pirate a Krispy Kreme. A Krispy Kreme is the best donut out there.
Well, that's true.
So there you go.
What was that noise?
I don't know. I'm thinking somebody must have clinked me or something. I don't know. Don't know what it is. Maybe somebody sent me a message. Somebody sent me, this girl here needs to get a life.
Trish? Yes,
no,
she does.
No, this other one. She befriended me and wanted to know if I remembered her. I didn't remember her, but she remembered me. And she sends me Christian things every day. Every day.
Well, she's
Couple
just
times
helping
a
you.
day. And I'm just like, can't you send me something? I mean,
She is. She's sending
something
you.
other than that. I don't really, but that's all. Anyway, there is an update to this.
Okay.
I didn't even get to read it, so I don't know what it says here yet. Let me see what the update is. Okay. Enterprising student gets Krispy Kreme's blessing and a
Nice.
bonus.
Okay.
So now he's an independent operator.
Cool. Good.
So we are good for nothing. I just think it's good that they did that. I think it's awesome because I thought it was all stupid.
It must have been an undercover boss thing.
Must have been. The update is, it says here, enterprising student won't have to give up his business of selling Krispy Kreme donuts after all. Now think about this also. You were saying, well, what happens if they sell it and something's wrong with it? Fundraisers. They buy and, in fact,
Yeah.
I'll tell you a secret. I never told this to anybody, ever. So don't, just keep it between us.
Okay.
When I was in college, I was in college at 16.
Right.
Okay. And I didn't have any money. My high school was doing a donut sale.
Oh,
I bought donuts from the high school and sold them in college, and I was making money. That is the
only
absolute
you.
truth. The absolute truth is what I'm saying right now. I forgot about that till just now. I did eventually get caught by one of the people I sold them to, but it was true. It was. I actually made good money on that. But anyway, while Krispy Kreme initially told Gonzalez to stop over concerns over product quality and regulatory compliance, the company now says the 21-year-old student from Champlain will be given a title of independence operator. This will ensure consistent delivery of our high-quality donuts to the fans of the company. As a bonus, it says Gonzalez's first 500 donuts will be free.
Wow.
So I guess that's a change of heart. So apparently they heard me.
Well, I think they came to an understanding. You know, they're trying to help a young man out who shows potential.
I know what really happened. Bad press. And
Yeah.
they want to avoid the bad press. That's what happened. It says here, Gonzalez credits 4,000 Facebook fans, some of whom called and emailed the corporate office. In a Facebook post, Gonzalez says he's pumped to get to work with the support of Krispy Kreme. However, he's raising money for a new vehicle as his current Ford Focus is on its last legs and only can hold 110 donuts when modified. He also has been advised to obtain a rental mobile food license and establish himself as a limited liability company at a cost of roughly $500. So what they're doing is they're making him go legit.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm
yeah.
good with that. I actually don't have a problem with the way this is playing out. If he's going to do this, he should do it legit, and it would solve a lot of the problems. I think that Krispy Kreme was being a bitch about the whole thing to start with, but it turns out with a good possible ending to this. So I approve of this because I thought it was really stupid that they went out of their way to stop him from making money when he didn't cost them anything. So I'm okay with the way this ended up.
Good.
So that's funny. It's funny how that all works out. Fast food chains. This is interesting to me. We asked 3,000 fast food fans what chains they won't eat at.
Okay.
You're going to be surprised by the answers.
Probably
These are the
not.
15 most hated brands of fast food. Do you want to
Okay.
guess who any of them are?
Popeyes.
That may be on there. Anybody else? Give me whichever ones you think would be on this list.
All of them. I would think
You would be
there are some people that will not eat at McDonald's.
well. This is 3,000 people. The most hated brands with 3,000 people.
Okay, wait a minute.
So we have 3,000 people that are interviewed, and who are the top? Give me
I can't
give me
get this to
5.
work.
What's not working?
It's because I have too many windows open.
Something's holding it up. Hit Control, Delete, Alt. Let's see what it is. Let's see what the issue is.
It's because I have too many open, and I'm leaving them open in case we need them.
Well, you can't use them if you can't open them.
I know.
So you might as well just, get rid of them.
I would say, well, you have Notepad on yours.
I do.
I was going to say,
hold on,
people
hold
won't
on.
eat at Chick-fil-A.
Hold on. Let me bring Notepad up. There's the app. Okay.
Chick-fil-A,
Chick-fil-A.
Popeyes,
Popeyes.
I'm sure there are people that will not eat at McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's.
I'll put all of them down. Burger King. Mickey D's. Especially the CEOs.
Yeah.
And Wendy's. Okay.
Let's see. What are some of the other ones?
I want your top 5.
Oh,
Or maybe top 10.
okay. Let's see.
Because
1,
we're
2, 3,
talking
4, 5.
15.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Um, Five Guys was probably on there. I'm trying to think of some ones that I've never eaten at.
All right. Well, we got 1, 2,
We got
3,
six.
4, 5, 6.
Okay,
We'll stop wherever you want.
that sounds good.
Okay. So your top 6 are Five Guys, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, Popeyes, and Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Let's see what they are. And this is based on 3,000 people. Their top answers were Hardee's and Little Caesars.
Wow, I forgot about them.
Yeah. All right. Subway is number
Oh.
15.
Oh,
Chick-fil-A.
see, I didn't think of Subway as fast food. I mean, it is, but
Chick-fil-A
hey, I'm on there.
is number, is 12, but there's a tie. So Chick-fil-A is tied with Bojangles, which I've never heard of,
I didn't either.
Qdoba, which I've never heard of.
Yeah, I did hear them because there's one on Paxton Street.
Okay. Number 10 is a tie. Burger King,
Got that one.
KFC,
I forgot about them.
Panda Express.
Who?
Oh, I'm sorry. KFC and Burger King are tied. Panda Express,
Oh, that's Chinese.
yes,
Okay, I know them.
is a
Okay.
tie with
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Oh my goodness.
Jimmy John's made the top.
Oh.
I see a lot of these I can't understand. Like I never ate at Jimmy John's, so I don't know what
Oh,
they.
I
what they're-
did.
Do you like their food?
Oh yeah.
Well, there's some 3,000 people didn't, or a bunch of them. Carl's
I should
Jr.
say I've had them delivered.
Carl's Jr., which is Hardee's,
Okay.
but Carl's Jr. made it. Arby's.
See, I don't think of these fast food places when you put me on the
And
spot like
Jack
this.
in the Box,
Okay, I've never heard of that one.
Papa John's.
Okay.
Is that the place that Shannon used to work at?
Yes. Then that means Domino's should be on there.
And then the top ones would be Little Caesars and Hardee's. Now, the thing is, if you talk about Caesar or if you talk about Hardee's being the number one, you got to add Carl's Jr. So they should have been a clear number one because they're really the same store. Just in the South, they're Carl's Jr. So I just thought it was interesting.
I don't like Domino's.
I
hate
don't have any
Domino's.
problems with any fast
Hot
food.
puppy.
Really, I like all fast food. Taco Bell would be on there, except we don't have one anymore. Well, they have the one that's out by your place.
There's one on Jonestown Road.
I don't
Trust me, if Ashley was here, she would tell you.
know. Okay. So you got Chick-fil-A, Burger King.
That
That's
was
the only
it.
two. I don't know. See, I wouldn't have guessed that any of those would have been on there because I really would have thought that it would be some of the I would have never put Subway on there.
I wouldn't either.
I thought
'cause I
Subway's
like
good.
Subway.
So I would disagree with them, but everybody's welcome to their own opinions. So, this is where really scary thing. Now we know about TSA.
Yes.
I haven't heard any stories about TSA lately, but here's a story about them. TSA stopped a traveler after finding a toilet paper gun in his bag. I can't imagine what in the world a toilet paper gun is. Oh, I guess it's a gun
It holds toilet
that holds
paper.
I bet it doesn't shoot anything.
No, but the fact that it looks like a gun.
Well, I see why. TSA agents at New Jersey's Newark Liberty International Airport
New Jersey. Yep.
were prepared to give a traveler crap when they spotted a revolver in his carry-on bag. Upon closer inspection, what they thought was a gun was actually a gun-shaped toilet paper holder. They shouldn't give him any crap because he's got.
That was just so wrong.
Maybe they should give him crap because he's got a toilet paper gun.
But you never know. They have to be extra careful based on stuff that, what's going on in the world today.
Yeah, that's why they suspend a kid for having a graham cracker that he bit into a gun shape, they said.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Excuse me.
A kindergartner. And it was probably by accident that it was a gun shape, somebody's interpretation of what a gun shape looked like. The replica gun triggered an alarm. Get it? Triggered an alarm.
Buddy, why are you doing this to me?
When the bag that it went through in the X-ray machine, TSA does not permit permit travelers to bring real or replica firearms through the checkpoint. The traveler was given several options: return the item to his vehicle, put it on a checked bag, give it to a friend who wasn't traveling, or surrender it to the TSA.
What about if I had a picture of one? Would they confiscate
Nope.
that too?
Nope, it would go through the x-ray machine without any problems. He chose to surrender it. See, this kind of thing is funny to me, but not funny. They, said that he could have put it in his luggage
Right.
that was checked in. I don't know. I think it's a really. I wonder if the guy did it on purpose to see what would happen.
Probably.
Now, if that were the case, he deserves some crap. Get it? Crap.
Yes.
Anyway.
You've got so many toilet jokes that it's going to be overflowing.
Oh. I think we'll just flush that one down then. Well, some bad news.
You're retiring.
I already retired. I don't,
Oh, okay.
But this
I
is-
thought you meant
this
from
is
here.
good news for me, but it's bad news for the rest of the world. Snow's on the way.
Oh, did you have to say that word?
Well, people need to know.
No, we don't.
Would you rather not know and then wake up in the morning at, your
It's what
ungodly-
happens anyway.
your ungodly time?
Some of us have to.
Yeah, well, some of us don't.
That's just as bad as this one.
It says here a large. What?
This one.
Oh yeah. Says here a large blob of cold air from Canada is going to give us a hint of the winter this week, possibly by the. Says here bringing the first snowflakes of the season to Pennsylvania. The cold front is coming from the north and is expected to cause wintry mix of snow and rain showers Thursday.
Yeah, and that's when Ashley comes back, and I'm not looking forward to it for the snow.
Well, that's good, I guess. I would hope that it would be not Ashley the reason that you're not looking forward to it. So, yeah,
No,
that's
because I have to leave my car where her bus is dropping her off, so that she has a way to get home at 11:30 at night.
oh boy.
And I'm just scared of her driving in the snow with my car.
This driver tries to rescue passengers from a submerged car. 2 others found dead. He was a hero and tried to do everything he could. The driver died while trying to rescue the passengers. Police said an 18-year-old man died a hero while trying to rescue 4 passengers in a car that plunged off the banks of the Delaware Canal. He got one of the passengers safely to shore, but 2 others were found later dead, and a 4th is still missing. The man was driving the car when it fell into the Chesapeake in Delaware Canal in Middletown, about 20 miles southwest of Wilmington. And the man who hadn't been identified was able to help a 16-year-old girl swim ashore. He then dived back into the water and to try to save 3 boys who were also in the car. He never made it back. So sadly, he saved 1, but he died, and the rest of the passengers died as well.
Well, he was trying.
Well, I'm curious though, if we did a toxicology report, was the diver on anything? Because why did he crash to begin with?
True.
I guess we'll not ever know that, but that is kind of sad because we hate to see a kid, 18-year-old, die. Although some 18-year-olds we probably wish would. You know what a time capsule is, right?
Yes.
What if you got a
Uh-oh.
time capsule today that was buried 132 years ago? What would you expect to see in it?
Oh.
There happened to be one
Oh, wow.
found in Utah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know where there is one, but I forget. I'll have to go check the next time I'm over at the academic support building. There is one buried in the wall, and I have to. I used to walk by it every day that it says when it was going to be open, and I forget what that is now.
Well, I think it's really cool. It happened.
Oh, I think it
It
would
was
be
buried in
too.
1887. You got to think about what we have today
Cell
and
phones.
what we didn't have then.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I find very interesting because that's not something that we would even think about way back then.
Yeah, I
But
mean, if you would put one, if you would bury one today, a cell phone, maybe an iPod or whatever, and then to think
The building was
132
hidden
years
inside
down the road,
also
you
early
know,
Utahns
if
built
it's
for the
your
U.S.
some like bloodline of yours, like
think
wow,
think about CDs, flash drives,
yes,
hard drives, SSDs, uh, just
anything.
a few
Pictures of an electric car.
VHS tapes.
What?
Yeah,
What are they?
something we would have buried in the 80s. Anyway,
Oh, those things.
here we have
Run
what
by
it was,
participants.
and you can determine whether or not you would have guessed any of this.
if they don't think what they're doing is important.
The building was hidden inside, also important to early Utahns. Built for the New West.
Now, keep in mind, it's
Education
also
Commission
Utah.
Run by Protestants to educate Mormon settlers for free.
It makes this interesting sort of window into the past.
So what's inside?
Let's see.
It's been cut off, so the lid just lifts off.
On top, a small Bible with a metal clasp.
Deposited in this box on the
Now, think about this
Diary.
Bibles with clasps. That one is 132 years old at least.
Right.
Back
It
when,
almost sounds like those diaries that girls used to write in when they were little that you had to have the lock on so
What do you mean,
nobody could read
girls?
them.
What do you mean, girls?
I never had one. Oh, yes, I did.
What about me?
You don't have a. Oh, you
My
just
songbook.
found one in your car.
My songbook.
Well, yeah,
Things
but
I've
you
written.
found a diary in your car.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Anyway, here's one. Here we go.
27th day of September, 1887.
Also inside, several newspapers and educational books, Ogden business cards, a map of Salt Lake City.
So my house is right around.
I wonder what the business cards were. What kind of business were they in?
Anything
Probably-
to do with horses, like blacksmith?
Right. Farms,
Yeah.
apothecaries, maybe.
Doctors?
Note written by a construction worker wishing the school well. A hairpin and buttons.
Oh, I just think it's
Kind of lame if we did one this year, or starting this year, it had this stuff in it.
Well, I would want to know what these people were thinking things would be like 132 years into the future.
They probably never would have imagined.
No, they wouldn't.
Think about it. They didn't have cars.
I know.
They probably said horses. What kind of contraption could our horse pull? And how many horsepower is it?
Right.
They probably never would imagine airplanes. I don't know when would the airplane, when was the airplane formed? 132 years ago, that's 1887. So it just amazes me that in that period of time, how many changes there were.
Well,
1903
was,
So they don't know about air flight,
yeah,
submarines.
exactly. Were they thinking, like we saw a picture, they had a map there of what the area looked
Right.
like. Maybe that's to say, well, this is what it was.
Sure.
Look how much you've grown since then.
I wonder what it is. I'd like to see the original map and what it is. But I mean, think about it. No planes, no train. Well,
No automobiles.
there were probably trains, but probably not automobiles. Well, I don't know. When was the plane? When was the automobile? I'm thinking that's probably not 132 years old.
History of the automobile. 1871.
and this is 1887. So they did have automobiles, but probably very few.
Right.
So if you think about it like that, they wouldn't have had a Tesla, something that is all electric. Uh, their top
They probably
speed,
didn't even have electricity back then. Well, maybe some.
they probably had it, but it's only the wealthy people had it. But think about their top speed was probably 20 miles an hour
Yeah.
versus what we got now.
But we know you can't. Excuse me. We know you can't drive 20 miles an hour. You let the car do it.
Why would I have to? And that would really blow their minds.
Oh yeah.
Because that blows people's minds anyway, having the car come to you.
hmm
So, I mean, okay, let's see what else they had.
Great to see how they try to preserve things.
What archivists didn't expect, a typed paper, basically an IOU stating that some of the artifacts were borrowed while the capsule was in storage.
Oh, wow.
Luckily, they brought them back. And at the very bottom, something unexpected.
Right, the guess looks like a piece of gum.
Oh.
Still in the wrapper.
Historians say it's
Oh,
one
wow.
of the most complete time
gross.
capsules they've seen.
In their minds, sometime in the future, 100 years, whenever, somebody was going to find this, and they were going to know that this important work was being done.
I'd like to even see one from the 50s.
Oh yeah.
You know, anytime other than, you know, this year, right? You know, 20 years ago, meh, maybe not. 30 years ago, but 50, 100, you know, because we take a lot of the things for granted,
True.
and especially millennials, they wouldn't know what it was like to be without their cell phone. I know what it's like because I was a late adopter, and so that kind of interesting. The technologies would blow them away. I mean, a network. They wouldn't even know what you would use a network for. You know, those are all things that I think is kind of funny that it's interesting. Speaking of which, so Microsoft's browser, the Edge,
hmm
okay, they came up with a new logo.
Like a razor's edge.
No, this is what the logo looks like. Wait a minute. There you go.
Oh wow.
A penis.
What? No. That looks like a C.
You're not looking right.
Oh jeez.
Well, I didn't think of this. This was thought of by Alcy, Alye. Alice? Is that
Elise.
Elise Stanley. I would have never thought of that, but I just, you know, but she did.
It all depends on how you look at it.
Obviously. She was looking at it one way.
Because I saw something on Facebook over the past couple of days where it's a cat holding a mouse in its mouth, but if you look at it another way, it's a woman's face.
All right. Well, that's she said it says while we still may not know when the final version of Microsoft's Chromium-based Edge browser is coming out, we got a first look at the logo this weekend. The redesigned icon was the reward for solving an elaborate Easter egg hunt inside the latest Canary version of Edge, apropos of its wave design, and you know, some people say, you know, that it there's the different versions of this logo.
Yeah,
But
the one on this computer looks like it's Sonic the Hedgehog version.
yeah, that one would
Bottom
be this
row,
one.
yeah, the most recent.
Yeah. But it's kind of weird. But you know, everybody sees something different, and we know what she was thinking of.
Yeah.
I could see that. So anyway, where are we at here? Okay, gotta close a couple of these windows. Let's see, that's the Microsoft window thing. All right. You know, you get robocalls on your phone, right?
Yeah, God, I hate those calls.
Well,
yeah.
we can change that.
Please do.
Let me tell you how. Just wait for this to come up. Stop robocalls for free with free solutions from AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint. So there's, they found a need. They found something that was a problem and chose to solve that problem. Obviously, we all get calls like that. And I can't believe they still use those robocallers. But it says robocalls have tormented us for years. They've interrupted our conversations, dominated our work lines, and spread erroneous information across the country. The nation's do not call registry is pretty worthless at stopping them. You can spend money on robocall blocking apps that might do some relief. Apple's new iOS 13, which I think just came out today, includes a robocall blocking feature.
Cool.
In theory, it sends all unknown callers straight to voicemail, but there's a huge problem that engineers didn't take in consideration. There's a call screening by Google Assistant through the app that works on Pixel phones and Android phones. It screens your calls and gives you a transcript, but it doesn't always correctly understand. And censoring phone calls is a tricky business, but now the FCC is starting to tackle robocalls, and the biggest phone companies are following suit. Each carrier is using unique tactics to fight back. So AT&T, it says here, to fight robocalls on AT&T's free service for customers called Call Protect. It includes features like automatic call blocking and spam alerts. AT&T Call Protect consists of the following. So if you have AT&T, this is what you'll get. Automatic fraud blocking. It scans and blocks suspected scam calls, whether they're automated or not. Spam risk blocking. It blocks calls or sends them to voicemail if they're identified as spam risk. Personal block listed. If you have a personal list of people you want to block, it'll block them. Unknown callers, anyone not in your contact list, will be sent straight to voicemail.
Good.
Siri shortcuts allows you to block and report unwanted calls using Siri. Custom call controls lets you set up your calls into categories to accept, block, or run straight to voicemail. So they're actually that's for free. Then for $3.99, you can have enhanced caller ID, which gives you details about unknown callers, and reverse number lookup for $3.99.
Now, I would take the reverse number lookup. That I would.
That's
take.
for $3.99 a month.
But
So,
I don't know. See, like the radio station I listen to at work, they're running this contest now where every hour from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, it's like 10 minutes after the hour, they give you a keyword that you text this word to a certain number they give you, and then you're entered into a drawing for $1,000. So of course I'm doing this, when I hear it. The problem is what happens is a lot of people don't answer numbers they don't recognize.
right.
So they tell you that if your name is chosen, they will try 3 times to call you, but they will not leave voicemail messages. So if you have that and it goes straight to voicemail, you're wasting your time entering.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, please call me. Nope, I never get called.
So Verizon offers a free service called Call Filter. It provides spam detection, blocking, and reporting. If you're a current Verizon member on an eligible plan with an Android device, you're automatically enrolled in a free version of Call Filter. So Verizon also has a beefed up called Call Filter Plus, $2.99 a month for one line, or $7.99 a month for accounts with 3 or more. And you have real-time alerts, spam lookup, personal block list, and spam risk filter. Sprint, sorry to disappoint you, Sprint doesn't offer free robocall blocker. Its premium ID is available for $2.99 a month per line and displays the names of the callers even if they're not in your address book. On selected devices, it will automatically call. It will automatically screen and block unwanted robocalls, but they're not offering a free service, which sucks. And they wonder why I don't want to be with them anymore. But yeah, you know, they're out there. We're seeing more and more people get it. I think. Let me just kind of look here on my phone whether or not the update is in. But I was told it was going to start today. That they were going to have the. Let's see, how do you find it? I don't even know where you look.
I think it is under. I thought it was under software or something like that, or version.
I thought it was under notifications,
Maybe.
but I don't see it. Maybe not. Do not disturb. General. Maybe it's under general. Software update. Okay, let's see if it's available. There is 13.2. And let's see here. I'm looking to see. It doesn't really say the protection, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to install it.
Oh no, how many days do you have left for this one now?
What's that? For what?
Well, when you install this update, is it going to change the days you have left to live?
Oh, I didn't look at that. I don't know where I don't even know anymore. I could be dead for all I know. Okay, we'll see what happens when it's done. All right. So I don't know if they pull it off and it's a good thing. Well, I'll be happy if we can get rid of robocalls. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, well, now some of them are actually sounding like real people.
Oh.
Because I had one the other day that I answered, and they're like, this is whatever her name was. Can you hear me okay? And I'm like, no, click.
Really?
Yep.
I had one the other day. He called me a couple times. I finally logged his number because I want to know next time when he calls. For increasing my or renewing my auto warranty.
Yep, I have them
and I'm
too.
like, I called. I said hello. He said, and he started doing his. I think it was automatic. I said hello, and the guy goes with the auto warranty thing, and I said, which car are you talking about? And he kept talking and talking. And he said, which car are you talking about? Just kept talking and talking, and I hung up on him because he obviously was not listening. He was only talking, so that meant he was probably a robocall. And I logged it so that I know next time who it is because I've got like 3 calls like that. That idiot just texted me again from the wrestling thing where he met me one time and he thinks I'm his best friend. He every day, good morning, brother. Brother, come on, you're not my brother, and you're not Hulk Hogan, so you shouldn't even say brother. Brother.
I love the calls that I get are, oh, we'll help reduce your student loan debt. Okay, that sounds good. You tell me how much. Well, how much do you owe? Nothing. Click.
Yeah. Well, if you can't tell me which of my cars you're going to extend the warranty on, you're not much help to me. So, all right, next we got.
Yes,
talk
puppy,
about,
the heater is on.
Okay, we got. Oh, where's all my stories? They're not there.
Did you lose them?
Oh, I don't know. I had some Tesla stories that I wanted to talk about. All right, maybe it's under news because I did start. Okay, here we go. Here's one. This is sad. This just happened. A woman whose sister-in-law was killed in a massacre near the U.S.-Mexico border says cartels have targeted them before. So there was 9 Mormon women and children shot and burned alive in an ambush in the U.S. Mexican border. 9 members of a family from a Mormon community were killed on a Mexican side of the border with the United States, and a relative of one of them massacred, according to CNN on Tuesday. The family is no stranger to the drug cartel violence. I would never, ever want to hang out in Mexico. Rambo proved that to me after that last Rambo movie. Now, the government's really corrupt down there. And it's not just a movie thing. It really is true that the government is corrupt down in Mexico. And people die all the time that because of drug cartel and stuff. So it says here, this photo shows Howard Jacob Miller Jr., Ronita Maria Miller, infant twins Titus Alvin Miller and Tiana Cresside, I don't know her name, Miller, and Crystal Belaine Miller, who all died in an attack. Howard Miller, the adult male pictured, is alive and was not present for the attack. Lucky him. He gets to come home and see his family dead. That's just it's sad. Kendra Lee Miller, whose sister-in-law, Ronita Miller, died in the attack. Cartels have taken too many of our family members, and those killed Monday were not the first. Miller told CNN her family has recently been threatened by cartels over where it can travel. Investigators believe 3 vehicles traveling between Sonora and Chihuahua were ambushed by criminal groups Monday. The victims include 3 women, 4 children, and 2 infants. Family member Alex LeBaron from Mexico said all were dual U.S. Mexican citizens. The victims were all shot in vehicles while driving. You know, it's amazing that this even goes on, but it's Mexico, it's not the United States. So women and children were massacred and burned alive. Mothers were screaming for the fire to stop. And they were driving together for safety reasons. In each of the 3 cars attacked, a mother was driving children to see family. They were driving together for safety reasons. It says Ronita Miller was driving with some of her 7 children from La Mora, Sonora, where her family's ranch is located, to Arizona to pick up her husband, who was in the U.S. for work. The family was supposed to go to Kendra's wedding next month. And in the second car, 43-year-old Donna Ray Langford was driving. Donna was visiting her family with her children in Chihuahua. There's a picture of her, and she's just, you know, another family member, 29-year-old Christina Marie Langford Johnson, too many names, was driving the 3rd car and was going to meet her husband and the rest of her children because they were moving to North Dakota. Not fast enough. At this point of the journey, Ronita's vehicle had a flat tire. Kendra Lee, according to Kendra Lee, Ronita and her children left her disabled car behind and then traveled back to La Mora with the other 2 women and their children to get another car. Ronita took the family car and with her children and continued the journey with the other 2 vehicles. Kendra and her brother Andre were on the mountain road near La Mora when he saw fire in the distance where the caravan of the 3 cars were attacked. My brother was fixing Ronita's broken down vehicle, saw a fire, didn't think anything of it. Then he saw an explosion, went to check it out and saw it was my mother's vehicle, full of bullet holes, completely ablazed. I can't even imagine living in a situation like that. I mean, we think of things like that in Syria and things like that. We don't even think that it could happen possibly in Mexico. I mean, Mexico is a tourist place, you know. Who would have thought that would have happened? But it just, a member said the 13-year-old boy who was unharmed in the attack walked 14 miles for help after hiding his bleeding siblings in the bushes and covering them with branches. It's just sad, you know. I can't imagine having to live under that kind of fear. And did they die because they were Mormons? I mean, I just don't know what
You
the
don't know.
reason was for that. Just is sad. But I don't know. It's just too much for my mind to comprehend. You know, just when we think that we're in a civilized world, we hear things like this. And the people that do that, people that actually do the killing, I just can't imagine how you can live with yourself. So
Some people don't care.
I guess I just can't imagine. So Tesla. Tesla's competitors find that going electric has its own set of problems. Now Tesla is the leader in electric cars. We might as well just admit that's the truth.
Right.
Because I mean, where these other guys are coming out with cars, like I'll be talking about the new Mustang coming in a few seconds, assuming that article is in my list. I hope it is. I hope. I don't see it. Maybe it didn't. I'll have to look to see if. Oh, it might be in my Tesla file. That's probably where it is. Anyway, where the other people were out there, Ford and Porsche and all these other companies were out there making, hey Dick, making electric cars. They may make a great electric car, but they don't have the infrastructure. We've been talking about this the past couple of weeks.
Right.
Nobody has an infrastructure like Tesla has. Nobody's invested in the infrastructure that Tesla has. And they got a big amount of catching up to do, because not only do they got to make a good car, but they got to charge the car. And at this point, where are they going to charge the car? You know, they'll have the many chargers out there that they can charge their car in that go slow, but they don't have a fast charger. And the fast now there is a new fast charger or a new fast charging system that's coming out, but it's such a crazy system, it's not going to catch on. You know what this system is?
No.
So when you have a flashlight and your batteries die, what do?
Shut it off.
Well, what do you do if you need light?
Use my phone.
What if you don't have your phone? All you have is a flashlight.
I don't do it.
How do you get the flashlight working?
Change the battery.
There you go. There's a company that's going to have pre-charged batteries you can put in your car. So you would drive up to the place, they would lift your car, take your battery out, put a new battery in, and you're on your way.
Oh, geez.
To me, that is not the answer to this. And the problem is that, as we've run into, you have to have a certain temperature to charge the battery,
Yeah.
or it doesn't charge correctly. And they have that to contend with. Tesla has that down. Tesla has that whole system down. They have the chargers. They have the idea of how to get, the chargers separated enough that we can have the distance to bring it all together. They have the whole strategy down. And now everybody's playing catch up. And the only way they're going to catch up, actually, in my opinion, is if they buy Tesla and buy the network. Because the network is the most important part to charging.
Right.
And they haven't really come up with that solution yet. It says here, not all is good in EV land. Because there's a lot of electric cars out that aren't Tesla. And people that have to wait hours to charge their vehicle. You know, I watched the Top Gear show, and they tested a Roadster. This was back in 2008 or something. And they were saying, this is a great car. The problem is, when we run it fast, instead of getting 200 miles to charge, you get 50 miles to charge because of the speed. And it takes 4 days to charge it back up. This is before the superchargers came out. Well, that's the problem every other charge company, every other electric company is coming up with now. It takes too long to charge their cars because they don't have a fast system. Their fastest system is what I've got in my garage.
Wow.
That is their fast system. That's what, 30 miles an hour literal charge is their fast system. My fast system is, 180 miles in 15 minutes. That's okay. That's acceptable because I know that I can get from point A to point B. It did take a little time to go that 11-hour trip.
Right.
The biggest problem with that was the charging. If I had gas, I wouldn't have had to sit at a charging station. So there is an advantage to having a gas car. However, the emissions and all that other stuff that go along with that, I can go to bed at night knowing that I haven't burnt the whole emissions thing up. So I don't know. It's kind of weird when you think about the give and take of it. Now, the question was, well, you're still burning coal with your electric car, right? No, I'm not, because most of my electric is coming from the sun, and the amount of emissions that you are burning by having an electric car are minimal because compared to burning gas emissions into, you have a choice. You can drive a car that burns gas and blows pollution into the air, or use an electric car that may have air. It may have turbo wind technology to generate, or it might have solar technology to generate, or it may generate through, burning fossil fuels. So I don't know. Anyway, the big deal is, like I said, here's some of the stats. NIO, which is a Chinese electric car manufacturer, is trying to become the next Tesla. It's fallen into hard times, and problem is it has reduced government subsidies, which, government can only fund so much of your project. Uncertain by the trade war with the U.S. Now, the U.S., do you remember back when I was working, I talked about there was going to be a situation, and actually it was happening last year, where Trump put on a trade tariff against China.
Okay.
So we buy all kinds of Chinese stuff.
Right.
But they don't buy our stuff.
No, they just take our money.
Right. Well, that's what the tariff is all about. Since they won't buy our stuff, they have to pay tariffs to bring the stuff into the country. So that's part of the problem, is that the trade war with the U.S., China has to pay, it says it's forced to cut 2,000 jobs and heavily optimize its business by, like Tesla's, a lot of their batteries and stuff are made in China.
Oh, wow.
So it should have raised the price of the Tesla. I don't think it raised it by that much. But anyway, NIO's not alone. Harley-Davidson, in mid-October, briefly halted the production of its Livewire electric motorcycle because of problems with the charging the vehicle in low-voltage outlets. Like the electric motorcycles, you would think that it wouldn't take that long to charge that battery. Still going to take you, that battery's probably good for maybe 200 miles, maybe, and it's going to take at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
If they have a fast charger, if they're working off of their house, they're just a regular AC outlet. That's why I bought the charger, because it took forever. It took days and days to charge that car if you were doing it that way. But, people, they're running into the problem because nobody can charge their car if they don't have a charging station. And, of course, we talked about Tesla having the largest charging stations and the fastest. Volkswagen's having that problem. They have that brand new Volkswagen coming out that's supposed to be 400 miles to the charge, but where are they going to charge it? Same with Audi. They got the same problem. Everybody has a problem. But they need to, what Tesla ought to probably do is sell licenses to use their charging stations and make money off of it. Because everybody wants their electric cars.
Krispy Kremes may have an issue with that.
You might. Porsche, another unit of Volkswagen. Although the Taycan, dubbed some, including me, as a Tesla challenger, it's not. Because, again, they can't charge as fast, and they're not as fast of cars. It's selling like hotcakes, but it's failed to compete with the Model S, because the Model S is faster. Everybody wants fast. If you're going to spend $120,000, you want the fastest vehicle. It says a fully loaded Taycan Turbo S goes for $187 compared to $115,000 for the top Model S. So you can buy a Model S that's a whole lot faster than a Volkswagen for $60,000 less.
Wow.
Porsche's attempt to address this is the Taycan 4S, a less exorbitant EV starting at $104,000. The range and acceleration of this model are below the Model S, but much cheaper. And the Model 3, but also like the Model 3, the Taycan is no Tesla killer. Nobody comes up, everybody says this is the next Tesla killer, but nobody seems to think about, first off, it's not as fast, it's not as cool looking, the Mustang is, it's not as cool looking, and there's no place to charge them. You guys should just, remember, you can't charge it, whereas I can charge mine. It says Tesla's mission is to accelerate the advent of sustainable transport. And, the car doesn't have anything to break down. I shouldn't say that because, but I really think about it. I haven't had to change my oil. There's no fluids.
True.
I don't have to worry
What
about.
about your washer fluid?
Other than that, but
Okay.
I mean, there's no fluids like your radiator.
Right.
Brake fluid. Oh, that there's a new update coming out that will be interesting because the new update that's coming out with the Tesla will allow you to do one pedal driving.
Oh.
So your brake and your accelerator are the same. What does that mean?
That means we're all in trouble.
No, what it means is like a garden tractor.
Okay.
You only have one pedal
Okay.
to go. So the way it'll work is that you will
Here, Papa.
push the pedal to go forward, let
Okay.
up on the pedal to stop.
Ah.
Now, it's also going to increase the energy by 5%, increase the power by 5%. And you're going to brake quicker because your power is now going to be the regenerative power.
Oh, nice.
So when you let up on the pedal, you stop.
Oh, because I feel that now whenever I'm driving.
You do feel a jerk,
Yeah.
like when you let up on the pedal, you do feel that. But there's going to be some changes on that that'll make it better. But that's going to be an interesting software update.
Good.
I'm interested to see how it does. I didn't get it yet, so I've been watching for it. I'd like to get that update to see because you have the choice to be the one pedal or not.
Would
it's
you take it?
I don't know. I'd have to try it. Some people like that. People I've read that have done that have liked it. I don't know if I'd like it or not. It's definitely something I'll try, but I'm so used to driving with two pedals.
Right.
But for the most part, I try not to use. There's no food in there. There are chips in there, but you can't eat them. They're computer chips. And anyway, it's just I found it very interesting that they're going to do that. I think it could be better, but I don't know if it'll be better or not. Here's a weird story. Woman found dead in home was killed by Great Danes.
Buddy? No, that's not Buddy.
He's not a Great Dane. Not anything great about that. He's funny. He's been pushing me out of the bed. He tends to start laying next to me, and then he shifts his body and takes the bottom part of the bed, and I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Anyway, says here, a pair of Great Danes killed an Ohio woman who kept the rescued animals over her husband's objections. Mary Matthews, 49, was found dead Friday in her home by her husband, Dale Mark Matthews, after 2 years, some 2 years after she rescued the aggressive dogs. I was worried about him being like that. When I first got him, he was very aggressive and scary. Now you look at him and he's
He's
Yes.
a puppy. He my buddy.
I never wanted Great Danes, but she wanted to rescue them. She loved animals, so I let her keep them. I probably should have put my foot down and said no. Matthews was bitten by one of the massive dogs last month, leading to him to worry that someone else could be attacked one day. Usually, when the dogs get aggressive with her, I would just discipline them and put them outside, but I wasn't there. They would get into fights with each other. See, that's the thing that scares me about Bowski's new dog.
Okay.
He's very aggressive.
Right.
And, like, I can't take my dog up there because if they got into a fight, one of them would come out dead.
Oh.
And I don't know who it would be because that dog is scary how aggressive he is. And with him mellowing out, you know, I'd hate to see that happen. But anyway, she was laying on the bathroom floor. She had enough strength to get them out the back door, but she barely made it back to the bedroom. She found police found a chunk of the flesh was missing at her ankle. Blood was found throughout the home, including on the couch where investigators recovered another piece of flesh. How would you like to come home
No.
and see like all this?
No.
When I came home and Pam was dead, I saw Buddy. He just licked her face and was just trying to wake her up and stuff. But
He tried.
yeah, but yeah, to come home and find your significant other dead from dog bites. So
Yeah. No.
here's your favorite place to eat.
Where?
Man using racial slurs killed in Waffle House. In a Waffle House fight in Georgia. Georgia Bureau Investigations says a man was shot to death at a Waffle House after calling other patrons racial slurs and starting a fight. Man, in this day and age, why are there still racists? I mean, you can be a racist if you want, but keep it to yourself. I just think that there's no reason for people to be racist anymore. I mean, I guess there is because there's always going to be racist idiots. But, oh, man. The GBI, I guess that's Bureau of Investigations, says okay, here we go. This is the funny part. Butts County deputies responded to a Halloween night to 3 9/11 calls that were minutes apart. The first reported an angry customer, the second reported a fight, and the third reported shots had been fired. Responding to 27-year-old Nicholas Bryan, mortally wounded, an investigation determined that Bryan was using racial slurs towards a 36-year-old Robert Louis Henderson Jr. and 39-year-old Antonio DeMartis Evans. Waffle House staff told Bryan to leave, but their argument became physical. Police say Henderson fired a single shot at Bryan, who later died at the hospital. So,
Wow.
I just don't get it. I mean, if you don't like someone because of their face, their color, their whatever it is, just let them alone. There's no
Easier
reason.
said than done.
I just don't. But my brother was a racist. I know that nobody believes me when I say that, but I'm serious that that is the truth.
Well, here's the
And,
thing, though. The one thing that I've noticed, in today's society, is that, I may say something, and somebody else may say it's racist. So that makes me wonder.
No, racist. When I say racist, I mean racist, really racist. Here's a story that happened last week. Last week, WWE stars had a pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And apparently there was more than meets the eye here. So there was, they had one a year ago. I believe it was a year ago, probably a year ago, that Saudi Arabia never paid the bill for. So they owed money. Saudi Arabia, the promoter in Saudi Arabia, owed money for the event last year and hadn't paid it yet.
Wow.
So Vince McMahon had a stars and everybody there, and he refused to get the show on the road until they paid. That's the story you don't know. You heard the story that came to follow, but it led to another issue, and that was, of course, the stars couldn't leave. So the latest on the Vince's talent meeting and all that stuff, situation and all that, as mentioned in the Observer, they reported a backstage meeting between Vince McMahon prior to Monday, the edition of Raw. That was the first show since the Crown Jewel travel snafu, which dominated headlines since last Friday. The issues surrounding the talent and crew's return. So, first off, let's see if they put the whole information about this. I'm looking here to see. Forced to remain. Well, okay, yeah. Because the issue was that, like I said, they were holding them up because they didn't pay the bill, and made some people very unhappy about the whole thing. But looking here, some people people were trying to do their flight and stuff like that. But anyway, 170 people were delayed at the airport.
Wow.
Criticizing wrestlers for making the situation worse by speculating about either of the possible causes. The meeting supposedly saw Seth Rollins deliver what was described as a rah-rah speech when he warned talent not to post about the internal matters on social media. Rollins caught wind of this and tweeted part of a denial. It said, and lastly, you're the purveyor of misinformation, Dave Meltzer of the Observer, because he said that he lied about everything. But here's what the Observer said. There were wrestlers who accept the company's explanation that mechanical issues were the solo cause for the delays, and others who don't buy it at all. They were stuck in Saudi Arabia after the show was over. They were supposed to leave and get back to the United States. I mean, the flight back has got to be 16 hours, I would think, 10,
Wow.
16 hours on an airplane. That's horrible. Vince said Saudis decided to air Crown Jewel locally on a 40-minute delay rather than live. Now, that's not what I was told. I was told Vince said, you don't get to air this until you pay us the money you owe us.
Oh.
Hey, if someone owed you $50 million or whatever the number is, I don't know what the number was, and they hadn't paid it, would you hold them up? Sure you would. But the Meltzer said that the others had been told by the company that the delay was caused by a technical issue. Yeah, the technical issue was he wanted his money. It says the meeting was open for questions, but none came up. Randy Orton basically tried to make a joke, and Rusev spoke, but didn't end up asking anything. The Rollins speech came at this point, and Meltzer mentioned the above tweet. I guess he's real mad at me over that. I guess I'm in good company with the people that Seth's been knocking of late. Rollins is their main boy.
Right.
And so he's got to toe the line to keep the main line. As the attitude backstage, the guys who aren't happy aren't happy. There are more unhappy people. Wait, the guys who aren't happy there are more unhappy there. I don't think that makes sense. Of the sources who he heard it from one person who took WWE's version of the events as the truth, who was willing to accept the possible company is telling the truth, and the rest of us were, no way it's true. If you were there, you would know there's no way. So I don't know. It's just kind of funny because the Here we go. It's documented the company received $60 million payment from Saudi Arabia before traveling to the Crown Jewel, so they weren't owed money, according to this, for May's Super Showdown. I guess that was only May. When Vince was upset about slow payment or anxious about lack of television deal in the Middle East developing, who knows? Probably only the billionaires in the room know what the truth is. The rumors were spreading from the wrestling sites to the business media. However, WWE stock is already down based on last week's financial reports. They couldn't, and they were down because they didn't get their 60 million. They were off by 60 million, so the reports weren't showing 60 million that they earned. So I guess next quarter they should be pretty good. So anyway, there was a lot of issues dealing with the payment of that. So.
Well, they got their money now.
Yeah, I mean, you can believe whoever you want to believe. It may be, I think we see the one side, we see the other side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth.
Right.
So who knows? Anyway, all right. I guess it's time to go, huh?
Wow, that went fast.
Yeah, definitely did. Like I said, I'll be improving this system every week. I spent so much time in the studio this past week. I thought I was never going to get out of the studio. I was living down in the studio trying to get things working. And we found a workaround for the one issue. And, I still want to get the sound better and get the visuals better. But we'll get it with time. So, all right. I guess we're going to go and let this rock and roll. And I don't know if this is going to play or if I'm going to have to play it. But we'll see what happens with this. So hang tight, and we'll see you next week. And push the button there, and we'll see if it works or not.
Which one, the stop one?
Yep. No. Oh, you just pushed it.
Yep.
Well, I guess that ends it. All right. Well, that's last of the show because Trish pushed the wrong button. I guess because she asked me. And I didn't think she was asking that. So anyway, for those of you on the other 4 streams, here's your exit. So I'll talk to you guys next week.
The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
5, 4, 3, 2, live now.